Okay, so today we're going to go through our golf study guide. You can print off the study guide from your Google Classroom and then follow along and fill it in for your test this week. So first we're going to go over the terms. An ace, if you're playing a round of golf, is a hole-in-one. So it would be teeing off and putting the ball in the hole, getting it on the green and in the hole with one stroke. Par is a standard score for a hole. So just so that we're all on the same page, when you're golfing, you're trying to score the lowest score, not a high score. So actually, negative numbers are better than positive numbers. So the standard score for a hole, which would be par, is an even number. I mean, not as far as even odd, but not positive or negative, just even standard score for a hole based upon distance, placement of the hole. You could have a par 3, which would mean that in 3 strokes, 3 hits of the ball, you should be able to get the ball from tee to cup. Some golf courses are par 3, which means that every hole is a par 3, but other golf courses have various pars. So they might have a par 3 and 1, a par 4, a par 5. Then using par as the standard, so a birdie then would be the score of 1 under par, -1. So on a par 3, if you birdie the hole, it only took you 2 strokes to get the ball in the hole, and that is a -1. A bogey is kind of the opposite, is the score of 1 over par. So on a par 3, if you bogey the hole, it means that you took 4 strokes to get the ball in. If you double bogey, 5 strokes. If you triple bogey, 6 strokes. An eagle is the score for 2 strokes under par. So an eagle is very good. So if you were on a par 3 and you eagle the hole, that means that you just got a hole-in-one. Now we're going to talk about the hook and the slice. The hook and the slice would be, I guess, considered errors or mishits. It's when you're trying to hit the ball straight, but instead you hook it or slice it. So a hook for a right-handed player is a ball in flight that curves from the right to the left. So it's usually when the club head comes in ahead of the hands, the club head is closed, and it hooks the ball off to the left. A slice is a ball that curves from the left to the right. So if your hands come in before the club head and the club head is slightly open, you will slice it off to the right. So this picture here shows the guy is intending to hit it straight, but if he hooks it, it's going to go off into the trees there to the left. And if he slices, it's going to go off to the right instead of going straight down the fairway or to the green. So this is for a right-handed player. Of course, for a left-handed player, it would be the opposite. So a hook would go off to the right and a slice would go off to the left. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the clubs. We've talked about these in class. So the woods are the longest clubs that you have. They have the big club head on the end, and they go the furthest distance. Your number 1 wood is what we call the driver. It's what a lot of people would tee off with. An iron is the flatter clubs. They are shorter. They are intended for a shorter distance. And they are used to approach the green, and they're called approach shots. Irons are shorter, but they have greater loft. They have an angle on the club head, so that would be for a greater height. And then finally, you have your putter, which is flat edge, and you use that on the greens only to putt. So to remember, the lower the number of your club, the longer the club, the greater the distance. So a number 1 wood is longer than a number 3 wood. A number 3 iron is longer than a number 9 iron. And then the higher the number, the shorter the club, but the greater the loft or the height that the ball will travel. All right, let's talk about the golf grips. We talked about these in class. We have the interlocking. So your pinky and your index finger interlock. We have the overlapping, where the pinky just lays on top of the index finger. And then you have the 10-finger grip, where the pinky just slides in next to the index finger. The main thing on these grips is to make sure that they are closed with no gaps and that your thumbs are pointing down the club head, or down the club towards the club head. Now let's talk about the stance. On the stance, your arms are straight but not locked. Feet shoulder width apart. Head down. And there's a flexion at the waist. So it looks like this here. It looks like he has a some sort of a wood that he's hitting. And then the swing and the follow through. So on the swing, your left arm, so this is for right-handed players. So your left arm would stay straight and your right elbow would bend in towards your ribs. The right elbow would do this as this would be on the takeaway. The wrists, when you get towards the middle or top of your backswing, your wrist will flex at that point. Head stays down, eyes on the ball. Heels will roll from side to side, but you don't pick them up or take a step or step out of the hit on the follow through. And you're going to rotate your shoulders. So the rotation of the shoulders, your head stays still. On the takeaway for a right-handed person, your chin will be touching your left shoulder. And on the follow through, your chin will be touching your right shoulder. So we're going to look at this swing, a Tiger Woods golf swing in slow motion. See, his left arm is straight, and then now his wrists flex and his elbow bends in. He drives through, and now his right foot is coming up.